It's been 16 seasons. 16 seasons of tryhard, evil schemes, and humiliation. And somehow, Plankton still hasn't stolen the Krabby Patty formula. But here's where it gets a little suspicious. Plankton isn't dumb. At least on the technical side, he's a genius. He built an AI wife, lots of reality-bending tools, even a ghost extractor. And yet, the one thing he claims to want the most is a fast food recipe. Why? Why is his entire life still about this? Why does he keep trying to steal the recipe after 25 years of humiliation? Does he just despise Eugene Krabs that much? Or is there something bigger going on? Maybe Plankton keeps failing on purpose. On paper, this whole rivalry looks simple. Plankton wants the Krabby Patty success, and Krabs has the formula. So he tries to steal it, over and over, forever. But if that's really all it is, only business, surely Plankton can succeed without Krabby Patties, right? He's a legit super genius. He's built cutting-edge technologies, weapons of mass destruction, Titan-class robots. The list of his inventions is so long, I made a whole video about them a while back. And that's just the underrated ones. My point is, he has infinite tools at his disposal. And this is what he's using them for? Stealing a sandwich recipe? I mean, I kinda understand the reason behind it. He's not even close to being good at running a restaurant. The Chum Bucket's very existence is monumental proof that Plankton doesn't know how to sell food to customers. But to be fair, Plankton does love to eat chum.
It's actually amazing!
And light? He doesn't know a thing about tasty food. Plus, his wife is a supercomputer, so she doesn't eat food at all. No wonder the food is terrible there. But then, why not just hire somebody who can cook? We've seen lots of restaurants and fast food joints in Bikini Bottom. Pretty sure it's not that hard to serve good food, something other than a Krabby Patty. Yet, all he did was try to market it better by hiring Patrick one time to handle a media campaign. Wait, he actually did hire somebody to cook one time. Remember when Squidward worked there for, like, a day? He used his grandma's recipe to turn chum into chum fricassee, and people actually liked it. But the success didn't last long, since Grandma Tentacles punished Squidward for using the family recipe without permission. But still, it means that it was possible to make chum taste good, right? Plankton just sucks at it. So then why didn't he do this more often? Why is it always about the Krabby Patty? Does this mean that anything other than a Krabby Patty is a no-no? It has to be a Krabby Patty business? Which, yeah, I guess that does kind of make sense. Because you see, back then, the rivalry wasn't about food. Plankton's obsession didn't come from his business brain, it came from his hurt feelings. To understand why Plankton is so dead set on stealing a sandwich recipe, we have to go back. Way back. Before the lifelong rivalry, the screaming, and the explosions. Believe it or not, Plankton and Krabs were once best friends. Broke, scrappy, underdogs in a town that looked down on both of them. At the time, there weren't any good burger joints in Bikini Bottom, just Stinkies, which, yeah, was as bad as it sounds. So these two kids dreamed big. Hey, let's open a restaurant. Let's make real food, something that people actually want to eat. And maybe, just maybe, make enough money to turn our lives around so that people would stop picking on us. But the dream never made it past day one.
Well, it was your fault the patty was tainted.
No way! That recipe's mine!
You're gonna...
The first patty they made poisoned Old Man Jenkins, which honestly feels like a rite of passage in this town, and they immediately started fighting over how to fix the recipe. Young Eugene was the lucky one because the fight somehow ends with him having a good patty recipe. And he runs with it fast. Within days, Eugene is already selling better burgers, pulling in crowds, raking in coins, all without Plankton's help. But that's where everything changes.
I'll show you, Krabs. I'll steal that cursed recipe from you one day, and I won't stop till I do!
Fast forward to present day, Krabs has the fame, the money, and the town's respect. Meanwhile, Plankton was left behind, labeled as a failure. So no, this isn't about burgers. It's not even about the sandwich business. It's all about revenge. What Plankton truly desires is to see Eugene Krabs lose. More than that, He wants Bikini Bottom to admit they picked the wrong genius. It's deeply personal. And that's why every plan he makes is about performance. He always wants to make a scene. At this point, it's almost a ritual. The guy announces himself when he enters the scene. Sometimes he even does an evil speech before he starts.
I want you to go in there and tell Krabs that if he doesn't turn over the formula to me, he will be subjected to utter annihilation.
There's always some sort of theatricality to his plan. Because if his real goal is humiliating public revenge, then subtle plans, they're not going to cut it. He needs the world to see him win. This also explains why his plans are always so ridiculous. But ironically, this thirst for spectacle is also the very reason for his failure. Going big instead of going smart. Playing to the crowd instead of playing to win. Most of his plans fail because he always needs to make a big scene at the most crucial moments. In Plankton Retires, he sets up the plan for retirement, saying he's tired of all these stealing shenanigans. Turns out, it was a diversion plan. It was robot Plankton that went on vacation, not the real Plankton. The plan was to make Krabs and SpongeBob follow the robot to give him the time to steal the formula. But in the middle of that plan, the robot actually reveals his true identity and blabs the entire evil plan to Krabs and SpongeBob. I mean, if only you could have held the reveal for 5 more minutes, the plan would have worked better. I know that Krabs is already one step ahead and sent a robot too, but the point still stands. Not to mention, he just casually strolls in like he's got all the time in the world. Or maybe that time for Mermaid Man versus SpongeBob. Plankton actually manages to get pretty far into his plan, mind-controlling Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, sabotaging their collabs with Krusty Krab, and actually bringing a crowd to the Chum Bucket. Really? You're forgetting the whole point of this plan was to sell them food? It's just ridiculous. Plankton always fumbles so hard in the most crucial times, by focusing more on the big spectacle and forgetting what his rivalry was really about, selling better food to the customers. But it's also weird if you think about it. If he's so smart, why hasn't he learned? Why is he still trying the same thing over and over again? Unless, maybe he has learned. And the point was never to succeed, it was only to perform. You know, I used to think Plankton was just playing the long game. Like, maybe all the failures, the robots, the disguises, were all part of some big strategy to break Krabs down slowly. A battle of attrition, a genius waiting for the right moment. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized things aren't that simple with Plankton. Because let's think about it. Let's say Plankton manages to get the formula without Krabs or SpongeBob noticing for a few days. He manages to try the recipe and makes a Krabby Patty perfectly similar to the ones that sell at the Krusty Krab. Then what? Now you've got 2 places that sell Krabby Patties. Wouldn't people just think, cool, they opened up a franchise now, less waiting in line? Or worse, people would just start calling Chum Bucket a knockoff, a cheap and shameless effort to copy the Krabby Patty recipe and sell it for himself. People still wouldn't buy from him, he still wouldn't make any sales. Even if he did sell them, I doubt the profit would come anywhere close to the Krusty Krab, let alone beat it. Because the formula is only part of the magic. The rest is Krab's reputation, brand, and experience, and SpongeBob. In the end, the original always tastes better, right? And let's be real, Plankton has the opposite of a good reputation. So yeah, even with the exact same recipe, he still loses. Unless Krabs loses first. So instead of just stealing it, Plankton goes loud, makes a scene, scares customers, wears Krabs down, in hope that one day Krabs will get fed up with the shenanigans and just give up his business. And that Krabs will give or sell Plankton the recipe. Only then would Plankton succeed in selling Krabby Patties. Or maybe it was never about running a business at all. Remember how I said before that Plankton has no talent for running a restaurant? I think Plankton himself realized that a long time ago. Even if Plankton had a better recipe than the Krabby Patty, I still think he would fumble and not outsell the Krusty Krab. His real plan could be just trying to push Krabs into bankruptcy. That would still fulfill his revenge plot, right? By proving Krabs is a failure and showing everyone in Bikini Bottom he's not the loser everyone thinks he is? Or maybe that Krabs is just as much of a failure? Which is more petty? Also, while we're on the topic, if you've been watching SpongeBob for a while, you've probably heard this line more than once.
I will rule the world! All hail Plankton!
It's the go-to excuse. It's been sort of a running theme with Plankton. Anytime he's not trying to steal the Krabby Patty recipe, he's looking for world domination. Walking small? Beach domination. Sleepy time? Domination. SpongeBob's last stand? Bikini Bottom domination. Atlantis Square Pantis? You guessed it, world domination. But let's be honest, this whole ruling the world thing, that's just a mask. It sounds big, maybe it sounds evil, but really, it's just a distraction. A cartoon supervillain fantasy he throws out to hide the real truth. He still hasn't gotten over the day that Krabs beat him. Because if Plankton actually wanted power, there are 100 faster ways to get it. He's got brainwashing tech, drones, laser beams. Why not just terrorize the whole city then? Why not just join Man Ray and his supervillain club? I bet Plankton could make it work. He just needs some weapons for it. But no, this isn't about the world. The only thing Plankton wants to dominate is Krabs. Whatever the case, his true plan is about putting Krabs out of business. Or at least that's what I thought. Sadly, while doing this research, I've made other discoveries that are way darker and more tragic than revealing Plankton's true plan. It's about Plankton's real reason behind all of this. You do realize Plankton and Krabs aren't young anymore, right? We don't have to do an investigation to prove that. There are lots of episodes with that theme already. Midlife Crustacean is a perfect example. Krabs has severe back pain, he walks slowly, and finds it difficult to feel alive anymore. Ugh, I feel like that sometimes, and I'm not even in my 30s yet. Holy Neptune. Anyway, that was different, okay? I mean, he has a daughter that is at least 20 years old now. Pearl's 16th birthday was all the way back in Season 4. And if he started dating Mrs. Puff back in Season 2, and in Season 10, Whirlybrain says this...
Mrs. Puff, we've been dating for 16 years now, so...
You hear that? 16 years. That means Eugene is like, what, pushing 60? Eugene Krabs is old. And since Plankton attended school at the same time as Eugene, it's safe to say he's around the same age. Their first fight over the recipe was in elementary school, so this rivalry has been going on for at least 50 years. That's a very long time to hate somebody over a sandwich. So I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Plankton built his entire identity around this one mission. But also, the sad thing is that you can't build your entire identity around one thing, chase it for 50 years, and then succeed, because then it's over. No more chase, no more excuses, no more evil schemes. He'd have to prove he really is the genius he says he is. Build something, lead something, make something people actually want. All in his 60s. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's never too late to start something. But do you think Plankton could actually do it? Deep down, I think Plankton himself knows that he can't. He sucks at running a business, he doesn't understand good food. So at this point, I think he just wants conflict to feel something. He keeps chasing the thing he'll never get because chasing it makes him feel important. Because as long as he's still trying, he's still somebody. He's still the underdog genius, the tragic villain, the one who could win someday. So yeah, maybe the Krabby Patty formula was never the goal. Maybe it was just a symbol of everything Plankton thinks he deserves, but deep down knows he can never attain. Because once the war ends, so does the villain. And all that's left is a tired, angry little man with no plan and no one watching. Anyway, speaking of unsettling old men with creepy obsessions, it's already past Halloween time, but if you haven't seen my deep dive into the weird, haunted story from SpongeBob's Halloween specials, including how this guy keeps showing up in a kid's cartoon, you definitely don't want to miss it. See you on the next dive.